This thing kills Constantine, forces Swamp Thing to sacrifice himself, tortures Zatara on repeat for years, has the creepiest freaking siblings or subjects, if we can even call them that, murks Kent Nelson's Dr. Fate, and worst of all, I mean the most despicable of all things, he disrespects Bobo. Detective Chimp. He deserved better. This is the being known as the Upside Down Man, one of the best additions to the Justice League Dark lore created by James Tiny Onion, one of the two, during his run on the book around 2018. This being, this thing, is not your average magical villain, or even villain for that matter. And I think he really gets to shine in a way that we don't necessarily see in a lot of older villains of DC. And he sticks out from some of the more recent attempts at villains, to say the least. He's far from a one-off, and his impact stretches across a couple different arcs right out the gate. He's used in very calculated ways throughout this run, giving you just a taste of how evil and all-encompassing he is from the first issue that he shows up in. I think what makes the Upside Down Man even more terrifying for a book like Justice League Dark is that we have not only magical team members scared of him, but also a fearless and iconic hero like Wonder Woman unnerved by him all throughout the series. And she even is forced to make a deal with him at one point. A deal that is very one-sided, and if he didn't help her, she had no way out. What really amps up his fear factor is that he's not even technically a person. He manifests this bodily form to interact with our heroes in their world, largely just for our understanding as readers and the heroes to comprehend at all. He's not bound by the laws of physics or laws of magic. Zatanna's own spells go haywire because of him and his Otherkind. That's the name for his minions in their world, is the other place. There's the Silver City, and then there's Hell, and then there's the other place, which is sort of the dungeon or area keeping the Upside Down Man until the walls start to break and he's let out. As we start this story, magic is on the fritz. Everything is going wrong, and the magical community is meeting to try and make a peace treaty to figure it all out. That doesn't go super well, and there's several schemes at work in the background. Zatanna's father has had a plan in motion since she was a child, training her to take on the threats of chaos and everything the Upside Down Man represents and just really is. But he never told her explicitly, so she has to uncover the mystery and how deep it goes as the story progresses. And she begins to find out how much Zatara has prepped for this. Zatanna becomes the magical backbone of this dark Justice League, kind of like she usually is for this kind of thing. Wonder Woman decides the Justice League needs another team to take on magical and dark force threats. But as she goes to recruit for the team, she finds almost nobody to take up the call, except for Dr. Kirk Langstrom, who is in his Professor Hulk phase of life, or Professor Bat, Professor Man Bat. He's got the bat head. You know what I mean. He's super ready for this chance to not only understand and study the dark arts, but redeem himself in the process, becoming more than just the giant bat monster that fights Batman on occasion. I have to say, after reading the 20-something issues of this run, I really like this characterization for Kirk. I'm not sure if I'm alone in that. I don't really remember what the community's consensus was on this run back then, but I just love Justice League Dark stuff, and I'm very partial to literal monster creatures finding redemption. It's what I love about the superhero genre, and for moments like this, characters like this, as corny as they are sometimes, as I'm sure a lot of us are too. What I also love is this big green machine here too. Swamp Thing makes everything a lot more interesting and higher stakes feeling for me, even though everything post Alan Moore just feels so different for Swamp Thing at times. But regardless, almost everyone on this team plays an integral part in their own special way through these issues. Swamp Thing brings everything they need and more throughout the story, and especially in the final showdown with the Upside Down Man. What's important to know about the Upside Down Man is exactly how intense his powers are. He affects everything and is powered by everyone, in a way. As the series goes on, we find out that the Upside Down Man is the exact opposite of order, of what we can call orderly magic or any kind of a rules-bound magic system. Magic isn't born with rules or order, of course, but rules and order were assigned to it to control and safeguard the world so that both realms of existence could coexist, if that makes any sense. But the gist for this story here is that magic, in part, is fueled by belief. At a few points, it is likened to the need for someone to believe in something being possible, because magic itself is the impossible, and in that lies the belief that their reality can be changed. Magic brings about a new possibility once thought impossible, which brings hope and life. But for balance, there has to be an opposite to that. There has to be a reverse, a flipped image of what is. And if there is, then the fuel for that side of things must be the opposite: doubt, disbelief. And with disbelief comes fear and suffering. That fear and suffering and doubt is the fuel for the upside down man. He is an ever expansive shadow that grows with every paralyzed thought, ounce of uncertainty and hesitation, doubt, or fear. Every bit of darkness and shadow is his. Dreams, nightmares, and the in between is him. He kicks off the start of this series in the first 3 issues of this Justice League Dark run, first appearing super briefly in a vision or dream of Zatanna's and a warning from her father, urging her to find the power that can keep the other kind back, to keep him back. With the Upside Down Man briefly popping up in the vision to ask if the power is inside her, the power to stop him. And he just says he'll have to eat them all to find out. Then some fun Jack-in-the-Box type bodies present themselves from the Lord of the Other Kind himself, once thought to be dead, wake up in the Justice League Dark morgue. They wake up like demonic sleeper cells, saying the other kind see you, the other kind are watching. After slicing those up, from here the team take a visit the Tower of Fate, where they uncover a ton of stuff. Nabu's on a bender, convinced magic is broken and the world needs to be purged of it. We find out all kinds of stuff, like how Khalid heard too much and got trapped in a jar. Nabu took over Kent's body because they both did not agree with the path forward, and Nabu needs the opposite of it all to absorb it, take it all like a black hole and bring order to the world, saying the magic really didn't do anybody any good. So Fate leaves the door to the other kind open and waits for it all to take its course. Horror itself, the Upside Down Man, takes a hold of Diana and Zatanna. Kirk and Bobo swoop in. Detective Chimp takes a slice at the Upside Down Man, which almost does nothing as they realize that he is made of living magic. Swamp Thing takes a shot and is disintegrated. Constantine steps up to bat with newly acquired tricks, using so much magic that his body won't be able to hold it up if it weren't for his demon blood to keep him safe. But the Upside Down Man is not some typical villain of the week. He rips the demon blood from John before getting into it with Wonder Woman. He doesn't care who she is, but there's something unique about her, something foreign to him, some kind of power. He activates it and doesn't suffer pain exactly. He simply remarks, "Now it's interesting," as he fades away. We find out that Wonder Woman has been marked with a witch mark by Hecate, the original wielder of magic itself at the beginning, the other side of the coin to the Upside Down Man, a vengeful, magical goddess of sorts. From here, though, the Upside Down Man pops up, meddling in various capacities as the witching hour and subsequent arcs take place. There's a lot of good stuff going on. Cersei is here meddling, doing her mischievous thing. But maybe my favorite issue of Upside Down Man's involvement has him in a similar mischievous position. Pinnacle of this, though, involves our Man-Bat friend. Kirk is writing up all the encounters with the other kind, all the incursions of their activity in the various sick and twisted ways that the Upside Down Man has sent his people to brew up more suffering and fear. The first of which involves a being called the Soup. He's one of the Upside Down Man's key other kind enforcers, I guess we'll call them. We follow the story of a Wall Street guy, looking to get his satisfaction in a darker way. Confidentially, of course. If his clients knew, he'd have all kinds of issues. Well, on this day, Zatanna is there to talk with the owner of the prestigious establishment that he's going to, the First of the Fallen. As they're trying to come to some kind of a deal to help the magical community, the Soup walks in, holding the demon lady from the front desk. For the first time, she feels fear, having watched him devour the rest. Even the owner cannot strike a deal with the Soup. In New Orleans, we find Andrew Bennett, vampire of legend. Vampire of legend? On his hunt, he runs into Bobo and Swamp Thing, trying to warn him of the other kind. But he's determined to do his work until he comes across the Conjoined. In a series of brief moments, Andrew experienced nightmare in flesh. Vampires and people merged and morphed into one conjoined abomination. Needless to say, he fled as fast as his vampire legs could take him. Which brings us to the Arctic Circle, where Shade and Frankenstein and the Creature Commandos were investigating a nuclear subwreck with Wonder Woman. There they find horrific corpses, one particular with a hole perfectly, precisely made. The skin of the victim's intact and fine, but the organs and this massive hole in the middle of the body is there. All the organs are missing, as though they were intentionally and thoughtfully removed. The next body is more active, with moving masses inside it. Little terrifying creatures with the same kind of face and body like the Upside Down Man. They spring out like terrifying little demon spawns. This collection of creatures is called the Offspring. They start to devour Frankenstein as he tells Wonder Woman to get out of there as fast as she can. We do see Frankenstein's head on a table preserved in a bar later on, for anybody who's curious. The last story is one involving Zatara and the Ruby of Life from Sargon. Somehow the ruby ends up through the story into the hands of Kirk. While Kirk is freaking out trying to figure out who wrote this story, this file is not one of his. There's all these extra stories. It must be a joke. His mind is unraveling. He's losing it all, writing all of this up. But in the background, we can see the upside down man above him, waiting for Kirk to leave. As he closes the door, the upside down man clacks away on the keyboard, writing more and more of these stories. If this isn't the most diabolical part about this guy, I don't know what is. He's toying with his food, savoring every last bit of his dominance as the heroes run around like chickens with their heads cut off, increasing his kind's hold on the world and their realm the more their stories take root. The upside down man haunts the team all the way until the end of this story, letting the magical community fight themselves and the Lords of Order push the heroes to the brink. Even the Lords of Order are afraid of what they've unlocked and what they've brought in. And so that causes giant fighting and war between everybody, even though they were preaching a gospel of order through elimination of magic itself. So as they mount their offensive to defeat the Upside Down Man and the Otherkind, hopefully once and for all, Constantine takes the first hit and goes down. Swamp Thing bridges the other place to the green, taking control and rooting that place in reality, giving the team a chance to take on the Upside Down Man at all. Through a full and complete sacrifice of Swamp Thing and the combination of Dr. Langstrom's device to force natural law on this other place, it takes a major stab at the source of the Upside Down Man's powers, slowly introducing order to his reality. But Upside Down Man is not swayed in the slightest, ever quick to taunt them with horror and fear. But as the witch-powered Wonder Woman and Zatanna look up, our new Dr. Fate, Khalid, is at the end of his rope from holding the Upside Down Man throughout the battle. Kent takes over, expelling Khalid and telling Nabu to focus everything they have into a single magical shot targeted at the Upside Down Man. Well aware of the cost of this action, Kent says he knows it will cost him his life, but Khalid does not deserve so cruel a fate. Despite the sacrifice, it doesn't eliminate the Upside Down Man completely. Zatanna looks around her, John, Swamp Thing, Kent, Khalid, all the magical people who they lost up to this point, her own father. And in that spiral, she remembers her father, remembering his teachings and his warning for this moment. The Upside Down Man is weakened after all they've thrown at him, so now she is going to use that magic in the least expected way possible. She's going to merge their bodies and minds and battle him from within. I know. So as they merge on the outside, it begins to appear that Z is losing her grip. Upside Down Man reminds everyone that he is magic itself, boundless, limitless. There is no winning against him. And as he grabs Wonder Woman like your usual villain, she reminds him he's still standing up, the right side up. Zatanna is clearly still fighting. Wonder Woman hits him with the magical Nipplebuster 3000, and Z starts to wake up inside, forcing a memory to shape the reality from within, taking control of both their bodies and minds progressively as she contemplates the cost of magic. She forces that reality on him. For the first time, the Upside Down Man has to pay the price of magic, proving his power to be false, disbelief in himself. So Wonder Woman uses Hecate's magic and seals him away. A beautiful scene of contrasting realities and growth becomes the other place. Bobo's Nightmaster sword is restored. They name the place New Mira in honor of the fallen world. Bobo keeps up with the Oblivion Bar, and Kirk finds a little bit of our Swamp Thing friend in a sample from the growth on the planet, in hopes of bringing him back one day. And that's it. Nope, just kidding. Z has some more emotional roller coaster left for her in this story as a result of the Upside Down Man. So Zatara is freed and alive, which is what Z has been looking for like throughout this whole thing. But Z is hurting over the loss of Constantine, even though they have had a super complicated relationship up to this point. Like, she tells him he's a piece of crap, even though he's sworn to secrecy by Zatara with some magic stuff too, so he can even like tell her what he wants to tell her if he wanted to. And even when she finds out about all that, she's still like, I never want to talk to you, and it's this big back and forth thing and ups and downs and relationships, you know? But she's hurting for her fallen friend. She's lost again. And her father is there now. She's been trying to find him, free him ever since she lost him. And they talk about mourning and loss. They did lose her mother, after all. And Giovanni talks about wanting to be a father one last time, reminding Zatanna not to burn the future to bring back the past, which is a hauntingly beautiful line when you really think about it. And Zatara reverses the cost, bringing back John and fading into the background, performing one last trick for us all. And that's the story of the Upside Down Man's first appearance. He's kind of scattered all over the place, so I did my best to give you guys the gist of it all. He continues to live within Zatanna in dark and mysterious ways, we'll say. As she uses magic more, she gains a little more control of magic, and power seeps through her, bringing the Upside Down Man out in her occasionally. I don't know if we'll see more of that ever brought back, but it would be cool. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already, consider dropping a like and subscribing for more character videos, story overviews, and cosplay stuff. I am still working on the Iron Man suit. A full video is coming out. It's just been a little delayed. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.